Metabolomics is essentially taking somebody's blood, and then it gets put through a mass spectrometer, and essentially we can identify different substances. And really we're talking about thousands of different molecules and the concentration of those molecules. And then identifying certain specific key markers and then comparing them to the other athletes. And this is a paper that he's published, I think it was about a month ago, where we took data from, or blood samples from the riders in the Tour of California last year. And if you look at some key variables, markers of oxidative capacity, so in other words, how much fuel can you process and burn it using oxygen to deliver energy, and also recovery processes, Tadej is way off the charts in terms of the other athletes. And we're talking about comparing to other athletes within our team, guys who are already at the very highest level, racing at World Tour level. So a certain aspect of it is nurture, but there's definitely a massive genetic component, and he is unbelievably gifted from that perspective. He has incredible capacity for the speed and endurance that he's got, but also for recovery. And that's really what defines Grand Tour winners compared to guys who can win on a single day race. So you get guys who really blow the lights out on a single climb, on a single given day, but they never seem to perform at that level in tours, particularly Grand Tours, because they just can't recover from day to day and have that performance 3 weeks down the line. And as we saw yesterday, I mean, Tadej just keeps recovering and keeps, in the first week or two of the tour, actually was improving as opposed to getting tired. So that's a unique attribute that he has. And we obviously will only see that once or twice in a generation.
Pogacar is producing one of the time trials of all time. This is a ride that is absolutely breathtaking. Look at the two teammates of Primož Roglic. Tadej Pogacar is going to also win the individual time trial as he sprints his way to the line. Dumoulin and Van Aert are absolutely breathtaking. They can't believe what they're seeing in front of them. Pogacar now racing to the finish line. What is the time going to be? He's going to obliterate the time of Tom Dumoulin as he sprints his way to the finish. One last little rise, 146 meters to go. Pogacar sprints his way over the top of this climb. He's given this the absolute fury of a man who wanted the yellow jersey. Tadej Pogacar, the final little sprint. He's going to beat Tom Dumoulin by nearly 1 minute 30 seconds. Pogacar reaches the finish line now, and he is going to hit the line in 55.55. Pogacar wins the stage, and now he can wait and see if he wins the Tour de France.
The reality is, nobody can ever be 100% sure. And given the history of cycling, you can understand the skepticism. We've had so many scandals in cycling that people just have eventually just lost all hope in you know, the possibility of performances being without any shenanigans. And you can understand that. So I fully understand the skepticism. I can only attest to what I know and what I do and what I see. And when I got involved with the team, I mean, I'm not going to get involved in a team where the situation wasn't in such a way that it could risk my reputation. I mean, my primary career is as an academic, and I've worked so hard in anti-doping that, you know, when I came on board on the team, one of the areas that I was allowed to have complete autonomy on is reviewing everybody's physiological results, their blood data, and having the ultimate say in whether or not A, we sign a rider on the team, or B, bench somebody because of some sort of suspicious value. And last year in the Giro, for instance, I made the decision that we weren't going to allow Sebastian Milano to continue because he had some values that we didn't understand. And we actually pulled him out of a Grand Tour. Now that's something to do that was unprecedented. I mean, people had, eyes big as this when they saw that we did that. But my position is we take no chances, and we have a very, very, very clear policy of if we see something suspicious, we act on it. We subsequently did a research study on him, and we found out that he had a very abnormal response to changes in altitude. And because he had just flown and come from high altitude, he had some strange anomalies on his blood passport, which we were able to replicate. And then we subsequently cleared him. So, I basically, and I take responsibility for that. I took a guy out of a Grand Tour, which was his first ever Grand Tour, when he had a normal physiological response. But simply because we didn't understand it, and because of the history, I made that call. And in the team, we have an absolutely zero policy, basically complete absence of any medicalization of performance. So there's certain things that are, according to the WADA rules, are not prohibited that could be used by athletes. Corticosteroids out of competition, thyroid hormone, in competition, theophylline, which is a bronchodilator. And in the past, athletes have used those substances. We have a zero tolerance approach to that, and we do not allow any of those things to happen. And that's the way we operate. From Tadej's side, I mean, Tadej is absolutely against using anything that's not entirely organic. When he crashed last year in the Vuelta, I asked him if I could give him some paracetamol for the pain, and he actually refused to take paracetamol. He said, no, I don't like to take anything unless I absolutely have to, and so I'm not going to take paracetamol because I can deal with the pain myself. And if it really gets bad, I'll let you know. When you see that sort of stance, it's really refreshing, and that gave me, really gave me some insight into who he is. But like I said, what we do is what we do. We're transparent about that. What else happens without me being aware of it or knowing about it, I can't attest to. I mean, there's always a possibility that something might happen, but I can only, testify to what I know and do. So.